Hello, and welcome into the second episode of the Undead Celluloid Society, UC Society for short. My name is Michael,
And I'm Rachel.
and today we are covering the 2015 movie The Hollow. The Hollow is a sci-fi movie about, well, so it's kind of a little confusing, but the premise is there are these three sisters who are recently orphaned, and they are coming to this island to stay with their aunts. And while they're there, they encounter some spooky stuff happening.
A curse.
Yeah, a
that
curse
was set upon the island 100 years ago.
Yeah, 100 years ago, and it's a spooky tree monster.
Yes,
It's pretty much what it is.
pretty much.
So they got to deal with that. That's the synopsis. Pretty much the movie. There's not really a whole lot to say about the synopsis. Kind of your standard monster movie when it comes to that. But we're gonna dive into our thoughts about this kind of movie. So Rachel, what did you think of the movie just in general? Like, what do you think? What'd you like? What'd you hate?
So I mean, it's a $2 million budget movie, so it's still considered low budget, but they had some room to work with. So they had some pretty good actors and actresses.
They did.
If you're familiar with The 100.
Yeah.
They have Richard Harmon. If you watch Sabrina, they have Jonathan Whitesell, and then Letterkenny, Dylan Playfair. So they have, at least to me, they had some well-known people. Granted, I don't know how well-known they were in 2015, but...
So to interject right there, I didn't tell you this while we were watching this, and this is the only reason why I know this. So to go on a little bit of a spiel here, with my Samsung TV, we have I have free channels that come with it, and one of them is Heartland, and it plays on repeat all the time. And the actress Alicia Newton, sorry. She is in Heartland.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I have seen this girl before.
Okay.
On Heartland when I'm waking up in between like naps and stuff.
Yeah, and that's a pretty well-known show too. And that's Emma, who is one of the main characters.
Oh gosh, Emma. Yeah.
Oh, poor Emma. But so I, for the fundamentals, the acting I thought was pretty well. For a low-budget movie, like the acting was done great. The
synopsis?
No, not the synopsis. The cinema stuff, the cinematics.
The cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography. That was really done. That was done well in my amateur critic opinion. They had some pretty good shots. I didn't. The writing was good, but there were, like I was saying during the movie, there was parts in it that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, they're supposed to be being quiet, but they're speaking with full volume.
Yeah,
one girl's tiptoeing around while the other one's like talking on a radio at full volume, and you're supposed to be quiet. And then another one is that the tree monster, he's burning through walls, he's burning through sewer grates, but he can't burn through the metal grate in the underground bomb shelter that they find.
Yeah.
And then he can show up out of nowhere up through literally like a drain pipe, but he can't find them in the warehouse. Like, it just, some of the things didn't line up for me with that, but other than that, I liked it.
So, kind of to touch on the acting, the sisters are kind of annoying.
Yeah.
When it comes to looking for their youngest sister, Emma,
who is constantly running away.
She's constantly running away. She's also maybe psychic and see the future, because she does that at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
She has visions of the future. They don't ever touch on that again.
Yeah, no.
But so she keeps running away, and then her other two sisters keep screaming all over this place, and everyone that they come across is like, "Shut the fuck up! You have to be quiet." And they're like, "Emma, Emma, Emma, Emma," and it's all over the place with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of a handful. I mean, they did what the script wanted them to do. They weren't bad at what they did. Like, the acting portrayed was not bad, but the characters themselves were very insufferable.
Yeah, and I felt like towards the beginning, it wasn't even the main characters that kept the story going. It was the side characters.
Oh yeah,
who immediately die.
Yes, yeah, yeah. We mentioned a couple of those bigger actors, and they all get introduced in a diner, and they all slowly die
in the diner.
Not slowly die, but two of them die right away.
Yeah,
and then the rest of them die like 5-10 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of, the acting's not terrible. I would say that the screenplay isn't that great. I mean, the whole concept is that these 6 witches were burned at the stake, and then on their anniversary they summon a curse, and that's the whole thing is. That this is the 100-year anniversary of that. So I guess they were burning witches in 1915 on this island. Okay. Seems kind of outdated, but so this is like an age-old curse thing. What's your opinion on the monster design? Like, what did you think of how the monster looked?
I mean, for it being, a tree monster or a vine, whatever it's made out of, they didn't do too bad with it. When it, I noticed that when it was, it found its prey and it was getting ready to attack, the fire in it would like blaze brighter. Mm-hmm. And then it in one part it showed it losing interest because it was going after the other sister, and the fire went out because it's got to go find her now.
Yeah.
So I do like how they portrayed his quote unquote interest in his prey. They didn't really go into too much detail about how he worked in a way, because some people died on impact, like he would like suck their souls out of their eyes or something with the fire, but then other people were dragged like halfway across the island and buried under branches for them to eat later. Like, so they didn't really go into that, but I mean, as a monster, he was okay. To me, it wasn't really scary.
No, not scary.
I mean, for a sci-fi horror flick, it wasn't bad. I've seen worse.
I will say, surprisingly enough, looked just like the poster that on the front.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of this kind of sci-fi movies, they have a poster or something and it looks nothing like that. This one looked exactly like that.
Yeah, and you were saying during the movie that the CG
for the monster.
Yeah, for the monster, they did really well on.
Yeah, it was really surprising. Usually when you watch something that's so low budget like that and there's a lot of CG involved, you're like, oh my gosh, look at how terrible this looks. It didn't really look that terrible.
No.
It looked like it kind of fit on the screen. You could tell it's not there. It's not a practical effect by any means, but it's not the worst CG I've ever seen for something.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it, and like I said, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that there is a lot of room for improvement when it comes to some stuff with this film, but for the most part, I enjoyed the kind of dumbness of it. It was a very turn your mind off and watch. Mm-hmm. Not like if you overanalyze it, you're gonna like you're gonna see so much stuff you can pull out. Like, for instance, the sister being telepathic, the monster. So in my theory for the monster, it only drags away girls, and there's 6 girls that got burned at the stake 100 years before. So maybe it was trying to recreate that ritual. We don't ever see that play out. That nothing ever comes of that.
Right.
But aside from that, and the sisters, I mean, man, they are very annoying. They are some of the most annoying characters that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
I enjoy the movie. I think that I think it's like what a sci-fi movie should kind of aspire to be. Like a monster movie that's not horrible, decently acted, and doesn't look bad. Like, it doesn't look terrible. The shots are really well, and I kind of stand by this with the whole sci-fi genre in general, is that the cinematography in sci-fi movies, surprisingly, when you're not looking at the monsters, obviously, is pretty well done. Like, it doesn't look cheaply shot by
Right.
any means.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, shoot. The thing about the sisters, like how you said they're so annoying, it really, like how they fought and they immediately were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you," but then immediately started fighting again. Like, they're just like at each other's throats, and then the other girl's just running away all the time.
Yeah, it's they're just
Their dynamic was weird.
yeah, they had some pretty bad
The writing was a little
interactions.
bad in
Yeah.
that area.
Those sisters did not like each other at all.
No, the 2 oldest didn't, and then the youngest one is like, everyone around me dies. I have to get away.
Like, constantly with the trauma of that. So I mean, I kind of get that. But yeah, I mean, overall, in my opinion, not a bad sci-fi movie. It could have been a lot worse. I feel like that we could say that about a lot of movies that we
Yeah.
watched. It could have been a lot
I think
worse.
it was better than the first one we reviewed.
I don't know.
Really?
It's kind of like I would put this in New Year's Evil, kind of like on different boats, because they're such different movies.
Yeah, it's true.
They're
And they were released like with so many
35 years apart.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much difference there. I mean, Hollow 2015, I would say not the worst movie I ever watched. But I'll if you don't have any other thoughts, we can go into our ratings about it.
Well, I mean, like, would you recommend it though?
Would I recommend it? So it would depend. To someone that watches movies like this, yes, I would recommend it if they never watched it.
Okay.
I would not recommend this movie to someone new to the genre. There's a lot of like classic stuff that I'd recommend over the Hollow, and we'll get into that in later episodes. But I think that as a movie, it's kind of what you it's what you expect. It's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's so.
I feel like that's gonna be like our feeling about most of these movies we watch.
Maybe I think that there's going to be some you're genuinely impressed with, though.
I mean, I hope so. I hope we can give our listeners like a great movie to watch.
Well, I think that I don't know about the next one that we're about to watch, but the next 2 after that are pretty good.
Okay.
From what I hear.
All right.
But yes, okay. So we'll jump into the rating for it. So Rachel, how would you rate this movie as a vacation? Like, where are you going? Where are you going with this movie?
Oh man, I should have thought about this earlier. Where would I go with this movie? I would say a honestly, I don't even know. Probably a trip to the woods.
Okay.
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 Like staying in a cabin. Like,
Okay,
I
staying in
feel
a
like
cabin.
this is a movie to like, if you're, a horror person, this is a movie to like cuddle up under a blanket in like the winter, like we're doing right now,
Yeah.
and like you said, turn your brain off and watch and just but yeah, so like a vacation in a cabin in the woods, it's very, very chill and you're just cozy.
Okay. Okay. So for me, I think this is kind of like one of those vacations where like your family plans it out, you're not expecting a whole lot out of it. So you go to like Wyoming.
Okay.
No offense to Wyoming. Beautiful sights out there.
Yeah.
But you're not expecting a whole lot out of the trip. You get there, you don't get a whole lot out of the trip.
More of a sightseeing
Yeah,
trip.
it's kind of a so-so kind of thing. You're not disappointed, you're not upset, but you're not satisfied. You're not thrilled.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's kind of a so-so vacation like that. Trip to Wyoming. No offense to the people of Wyoming. Love you guys for listening. But it's just like anywhere, not just there, anywhere in general you take a trip to. Kind of like you're not expecting a lot, you don't get a lot out of it.
Right, yeah. And that's my same thing with like the cabin in the woods. Like you're not going to be doing much,
Yeah.
You might see some squirrels running around, might get a bear knocking at your door, but like for the most part, not much is happening.
You're chilling in the hot tub with a glass of wine, and it's just kind of
Yeah,
the end of that.
It's what you expect.
Yeah.
Like this is what you expect from a sci-fi movie. A weekend in the woods, chilling in the hot tub is what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen really.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Rachel, would you recommend it? How would you recommend this to people? Like, would you recommend it at all to anyone, or does it depend on who you're recommending it to?
Yeah, I think I would. I don't know if that says more about me or not, in the fact that like, you and Trish have gotten me to the point where I'll watch anything for the most part.
Yes.
Got a little bit of standards, but
there's some movies that you won't watch.
Yeah, but if it, for someone who just loves movies, especially sci-fi movies, which I'm a big fan of, it's not a bad movie to watch. So, yeah, I'd recommend. But on the premise that you're gonna be a little confused at times, you're not gonna, you might get a little, with the characters, but overall, for a sci-fi monster movie, it wasn't bad. Like I would actually probably watch this again, if like bored or something.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that. I have watched it a couple of times, so I know about your end, but this is kind of like my shtick of kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get that. Well, we appreciate you guys listening into the podcast. This is the Undead Celluloid Society. Going forward, I'm just going to abbreviate and say the UC Society. UC, like with the movies, you see them. But I'm your host, Michael.
And I'm Rachel.
And we thank you guys for listening.